I am your host, Mashuma Saba, M. Saba, and this is our Cultural Variety Podcast. Stay tuned. Peace. And welcome to Coffee Talk Podcast, the Cultural Variety Podcast show. And yes, I am your host, Mashuma Saba, M. Saba. And this is our Cultural Variety Podcast show. How are y'all doing this evening? I know some of y'all are relaxing, probably feeding your children and talking to your girlfriends or talking to your man or whatever, or you're probably preparing to go out tonight and have a good time. And some of y'all are just enjoying your patio or a lake. And so tonight's show is definitely dedicated to those that are just chilling. You know what I mean? Those that are, again, relaxing on the patio, those that are at a barbecue, those that just want to take the time to turn down all of the negative energy, all of the negative music, all of the negative conversation or unimportant conversation or ignorance, and they want to just focus for a minute, on just hearing some good conversation. So definitely they're tuning into who? Coffee Talk Podcast, the Cultural Variety Podcast show. But we here tonight. We here for the intellectuals. We here for those adults that love to have mental stimulation. So that's what we're here for tonight. Tonight is Saturday, May 27th. And this is our Cultural Variety Podcast show. We always appear on a Friday or a Saturday night. We typically call it Grown Folks Social Hour. But tonight, before you do whatever you're going to do tonight, we want to just take it back a little bit and just hit you with our story, also known as history, but not his story. You know what I mean? So we just want to go ahead and do that. So do this for me. Go ahead and remove your feet out of your Crocs or your sandals. Kick them up on something, elevate them. But before you do that, make sure you pour yourself, if you're out in the patio or if you're at the park or whatever, pour yourself something. Go ahead and pour yourself some water, some wine, a smoothie, a beer, a latte, a cappuccino, but whatever it does to get you in the mood, go ahead and pour you a little something and kick your feet up and enjoy yourself here at our humble home here at Coffee Talk Podcast. All right, tonight's show, we got a great show for you tonight. Tonight, we're going to go ahead and listen to one of our greatest scholars, definitely on my Mount Rushmore of master teachers, Chancellor Williams. So we're going to definitely be talking about Chancellor Williams. But if this is your first time tuning into the show, Coffee Talk Podcast, the phenomenal podcast of the Twin Cities and nationwide, then welcome to our show. If this is your first time tuning into the show, we never start the show without giving you the flavor as well as the wise words. But before we go ahead and give you that, we want to pay homage and honor and respect to a musical legend, one of our ancestors, great performer, philanthropist, and international superstar that passed away this past week. Today, we want to go ahead and honor Miss Tina Turner, the queen of rock and roll. She was born November 26, 1939 in Brownsville, Tennessee. And during that time, she went by the name of Anna Mae Belloc. Annie Mae? And One of her greatest hits was a song called What's Love Got to Do with It, that went on to become a multi-platinum album. I want to say it went 5 times platinum. So we want to go ahead and take a moment of silence to honor legendary rock and roll queen, one of our ancestors, Miss Tina Turner. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and give you a 10-second moment of silence. And that's for the great legendary performer, Miss Tina Turner. All right. Now, let's go ahead and get right into the wise words. Let's get into the flavor as well as its wise words. So tonight's flavor, again, for me, my flavor for tonight is just a smooth latte. Why? Well, right now it's like 79 degrees. It's not humid, but it's just a perfect day today. Or maybe it might be even 82 degrees. But with a day like that, and you're out on the patio or you're under a tree, relaxing, out on a blanket, at the park, enjoy yourself a smooth latte because it presents a relaxing, warm, chill evening. And so that's why I'm going with the smooth latte. I also, again, want to give a shout out to those that are chilling right now. You know what I'm saying? Those that are on the patio, those that are at the park, whatnot. Enjoy your drinks tonight. Let me know what you are drinking. If you're not drinking a latte, go ahead and leave it in the comments that you're drinking on something nice. I would prefer, if I didn't have my latte, I would prefer a nice wine cooler on a day like this because it's that nice outside. All right. Well, drink something, right? But that's the flavor for today. All right. Next, we're going to go ahead and jump right into our wise words. Our wise words is coming from the person that we're also going to have pay homage to tonight. Our wise words is coming from sociologist, historian, writer, master teacher, Chancellor Williams. Chancellor Williams was born December 22nd, 1883. And he went to the Essence December 7th, 1992 at the age of 98 years old. Tonight, we're going to discuss a page out of the book, The Destruction of Black Civilization, which was published in 1987. And we're going to be talking about the Kingdom of Kuba. That's Kuba. Some call it a small state. Some call it a kingdom. Some call it a tribe. But what I want you to know is we're not going to let wordplay distract us when we also know what the meaning is. Again, it's the Kingdom of Kuba, a small state, as well as the tribe. It all means the same thing. We're going to be talking about the history and philosophy of Kuba. All right. So let's go ahead and do that. Here is Chancellor Williams' wise words before we begin our story. Chancellor Williams stated, for no matter what the factual data were, all the books written about blacks by their conquerors reflected the conquerors' viewpoints. I'm going to say that again for those in the back that ain't listening. Chancellor Williams stated, for no matter what the factual data were, all the books written about blacks by their conquerors reflected the conqueror's viewpoints. Absolutely. And those are the wise words of our master teacher, our scholar, Mr. Chancellor Williams. And tonight's book, History and Philosophy, or tonight's page that we're going to read, History and Philosophy, reflects out of the book, The Destruction of Black Civilization, the great issues of race from 4500 BC to 2000 AD. Let's go ahead and jump right into that page on History and Philosophy. And if any of you have this book, it's on page 232. All right. Let's go ahead and begin. The Destruction of Black Civilization, author Chancellor Williams. History and Philosophy. Each Cuban tribe was responsible for its own history, and the state was responsible for the history of the nation. It was oral history. The oral historian, again, as in the case of all other crafts, was a trained historian. His basic training was in a mnemotechnical system. This training in memorization began as an apprentice to a recognized historian other than the principal oral historians. There were special occasions for members of the clan to assemble to listen to the story of the clan, and another occasion for the general community to assemble for the overall history of the nation. The absence of written history made the task of the oral historian very exciting. He was generally held so strictly accountable for any errors made in his account that at times the reaction to mistakes made seems to have been unreasonable. For while he was allowed the wildest latitude in commentaries of his own, and even in fantastic embellishments designed to shock his listeners or entertain them, he dared not to err in reciting the factual data of history. It seems quite clear that not only the elders, who were also versed in oral tradition, knew the differences between the mythical and the truly historical account, but the people also understood what was intended as amusement and what was their real history. Aside from tall tales, the historian often used proverbs reflecting the philosophy of great leaders and that of the race, praise songs of great men and great events, songs which would call the blues, which told of past failures and heartaches, and dances of victories won and of thanksgiving. But the assembled elders were always keeping a sharp watch out for any serious errors on the part of the oral historian. He might be removed or even banished. In either case, his career would be ended in disgrace, and his disgrace might wreck his life among his people. On the other hand, if successful, the rewards were great because of the oral historian was the community's storehouse of wisdom and one of its most honored personalities. He was the core of the educational system. The lineage was the key to the history of the extended family, the tribe, and the nation. Within the lineage were the social, religious, economic, and political ties that held together the family, the tribe, and the nation. So tonight, I wanted to speak on that history and philosophy quoted by our master teacher, Chancellor Williams. I wanted to point out the importance of history. So when brothers get to talk about, man, who cares what's in a book? That's so they're so used to European books, European concepts, European definitions, European lifestyle, that they take on another's culture versus wanting to know their own. Historians are important. I remember my grandmother raised her children as well as her children's children, my cousins. And I knew that one day, if my grandmother passed, that there would be a loss of tradition. Some say that when you burn or when an elder dies, it's equivalent to a tree burning. So what I did is I became the historian of my family. I became the collector of pictures, a collector of stories, oral historian stories that was shared to me by my great grandfather, grandmother, aunts and uncles. I say this because you must know, where you come from. Because when you don't know where you come from, you're willing to accept anything. Some people call themselves the black sheeps of family because they don't know where they come from. So they use the terminology black sheep for some type of attention. When I would never want to be a black sheep of anything. Because sometimes it's the black sheep that is the problem. And sometimes it's the black sheep that may be outcasted because of its negative energy, character, integrity. Without knowing our history, how can we build any type of philosophies pertaining to how we grow, what we move towards, what we want to pass along or pass down to the youth of our families? Mr. Chancellor Williams is one of our master teachers, one of our greatest teachers. And so today we wanted to just pay homage to our great teacher as he spoke to us about the kingdom of Cuba, the small state, the tribe of Cuba in Central Africa, and its histories and philosophies. Let us go ahead and know what your thoughts are on tonight's story. Go ahead and leave a comment. Go ahead and hit the like button, share button, and let your friends know Coffee Talk Podcast is on tonight. I would like to thank you. And I would like to say, continue to be positive and continue to enjoy the remainder of your evening, whether you're sitting out on that patio, at the beach, at the lake, or whatever. May you enjoy tonight's show. I'm going to hit you with the universal peace sign. And thank you for tuning in to Coffee Talk Podcast. the Cultural Variety Podcast Show. Peace.